Hey there, your buddy Dan here. I'm actually here just in the Dead Rising remake demo. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at what we can find. We're gonna do some bug hunting and see if we can't figure some stuff out, see if we can find some things. First thing I'd probably do is just sit and watch this for a while. Make sure that, no zombies do something they're not supposed to be doing, clipping through things, disappearing, because, I mean, eventually I imagine these guys up here, like, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse cursor over at the front of the mall, have got to despawn eventually. Otherwise, you're just going to keep having more and more zombies join the fray. So, I mean, a good soak test, and I'm not sure if you know what a soak test is or not, but a soak test is basically where you leave your kit or your the game running for a really long time to make sure that there's not any kind of memory leak or anything like that. Also, soak tests catch things that aren't memory leak as well. So, like, say for instance, back whenever I used to test the Saints Row series, I would frequently use console commands to give my character never die, where they would just never die, obviously, and I would make it to where I have high notoriety in both gang and police notoriety. So that way, whenever they show up, they also fight each other and try to fight me, but I'm invulnerable. So basically, during the course of them fighting each other for, hot and heavy for 8 hours straight, whenever I'm, 16 hours, whenever I'm not at my desk, usually find some kind of assert or crash. So, but yeah, I think we found the solution to the potential memory leak of constantly spawning new zombies here is they just sort of seem to fade it out, despawn the zombies, and then fade back in, and start it all over again. It's probably the smart thing to do, but yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and start the demo. I'm going to check to make sure I change my inversion because I am one of those weirdos. One thing that always kind of bothered me is the fact that whenever you're looking through inversion options, there's inverted and normal, which implies that inverted is very much not normal. It's okay, I'm a freak, I know it. You smelled a scoop. Wonder what a scoop smells like. I imagine probably raisins. And I'm only thinking that because of 2 scoops of raisins. What did commercials do to me? Skip what? It's a static screen. Gonna guess they cut out the cutscene for the demo. It's kind of lame. Mega Man. Kind of a crappy looking texture on that watch. So yeah, another thing I'd probably try is to see what kind of events you can get to have happen while you have the sort of like watch interface up. So like if I had that open while being killed, I had that open while getting hit by zombies, just all that kind of thing. Whenever certain world events were to pop off and cutscenes, if I'm doing that at the time, who knows what'll happen whenever it recovers, when it comes back. Usually I would sit and read through all that to make sure that it looks good. Oh, another thing, localization testing is something that I don't usually touch on. A lot of times what you'll do is, obviously I'm just an English speaker. I don't speak any of the other language, but you can still actually do localization testing by simply checking changing the written language. You obviously can't really test the spoken language, but the written language, you can change it, and if anything you see still appears in English, or we'll sometimes have like a debug string looking thing saying, basically that's an indication that, hey, this was not properly translated or not properly implemented. One or the other. God, the game even looks kind of jank, even from... Like, I know the original game was jank, but man, this game is a little janky. Look at that tearing. It might have more to do with my settings than anything. I try not to go too technical on my testing just because, like, I'm not knowledgeable enough in, like, the nuts and bolts of, the super technical side of this stuff, like screen tearing and dynamic resolution and stuff like that. Like, I know enough to test it, but I never feel quite knowledgeable enough to say, this is definitely what this is. It's kind of hard.
I can't live without my precious little sweetie donkey. Oh, where is my Madonna? Where is she?
A little closely, I can smell your terrible perfume. Yay, misogynistic camera angles!
Hey, this is no time to die.
I'm not going to bug every art bug I see because we'd be here forever.
Look on the bright side.
It's interesting. I kind of wonder if it should do that or not. So basically what it did is I held the skip button and then pushed pause, and it still skipped it. I mean, I guess I don't know what else it would do. It would probably just take away the meter. I'd try to think of a way to turn that into a bug, but I think it's probably fine. But I mean, you could always mention it and just see what people say. Why are you squatting like you pooping? This is a really weird animation. Old people bend at the back, not at the knees. I don't know, I would almost bug this. This looks awful. Ah, she looks more like she's squatting than anything. Let's see what everybody else looks like. I think that's what they're trying to make it look like she's just old and hunched over, but old people hunch over at the back, not at the knees. If you don't find ways to entertain yourself when you're testing, you're never going to make it. I'd probably bug that he's not really pressed against this. So yeah, I mean, I would probably grab a short clip, maybe a screenshot. I'll do a screenshot just for our sake. So let me make sure he draws back far. Grab that screenshot, girl. And, usually I'd put here all the information about the current game, like its build, its timestamp, all that stuff. So and there would be fields, like usually in the bug tracker you would be using, there would be different fields you can fill out, like, what type of bug it is, severity, impact, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to describe what basically the meat of the bug, what the description of the bug would be. So I'm not going to do everything that I would use to document a bug. I'm just going to do just the subject, or not the subject, but just the description. So Chris was his name, I believe. When I'll put the map, where I'm at in the map, what mission I'm in, all that kind of stuff. But when Chris is leaning against the glass doors, he is positioned in a way that causes his hands to not be close to the door. Not the best way to put it, but here's, I would obviously circle that, make sure they see it, maybe even get a better shot. And obviously you can go with what's called the PAL method, the problem action location. So the problem being Chris's hands do not touch the door. That's the problem. Action, when he is leaning against it in the opening. When he's leaning against it, that's probably the action, and then the location being in the opening scene of the game, which is not the opening scene, but I would obviously have more information about the location and mission and stuff like that. So that's sort of the gist of it. Problem, action, location. His hands don't touch the door. Action, when he's leaning against it. Location, you'd say like what cutscene, what area, and all that stuff. So that'd be that. Bam. Let's go back to it. So, yep, if I obviously want to make sure I know the mission pretty well. But if I don't, I would play through it once, make sure I know the mission really well. Then I would probably know each and every beat of the mission and then try to break each beat. So, for instance, right now it wants me to go get this stuff. So I would try to maybe destroy the materials that it's trying to make me grab without actually using them. Maybe try to leave the mission area whenever it doesn't want me to. There's a lot of different stuff you can try and do to break a mission. Try to die. Bam. Now let's see how it handles of me dying. Hopefully it'll let me die. That sounds like a weird sentence, but you know what? In video games, it works. Find it super weird that I can walk on this. In fact, I'm not sure it's as designed. So what I would do is I would probably take a picture of me up here. It might be as designed. I don't know. I doubt it. Especially with the way that collision looks. So yeah. So what I would do is just get up here. I would get a video of me getting on it or a picture or whatever I got to do to really carefully demonstrate what's going on. And then, yeah, I would bug it. So let's just say I got that screenshot and that picture real quick. I would put down the model of the tree. I would basically say, you know, try to use debug commands to find out what that exact model is. So Frank is able to climb and stand on XXXX model of tree. That's pretty much all you really need. If you wanted to describe more, like in the, you know, a little bit more descriptive, you could say like, you know, this causes his model to clip through the fronds, I think is what they're called. Yeah, palm fronds. Through the fronds and stand on visible pieces of collision for the model. Something along those lines. I would obviously go back and clean it up, reread it. Like I've always said, that writing is rewriting is rewriting. You know, that's a lot of people say that, but proofreading is so important in this line of work. You have to proofread. Don't care how good of a writer you think you are. Proofread. I kind of want to see. So now I'm going to go back to try and kill myself. God, that's a weird sentence to say on a YouTube video. And see, and I imagine this game is probably a bit of a nightmare of stars because there's a timer on everything. So you would probably have to make sure you run out of time on every single objective. Oh boy, every single objective in every single state. Yeah, that would be tough. I would probably actually want to randomize a lot of that. All right, died. Failure. Frank dies or fails to solve the case. You can select continue. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so my next test is I'm going to try and do the exact same thing, but instead I'm going to try and fall and die while looking at my watch. Now, what I guess is probably going to happen, they're probably going to cut me off at the pass. What's probably going to happen is whenever you go into a fall animation while looking at your watch, it probably takes you out of that interface. It probably makes you put the watch down. That would be my guess. But we're going to find out. Okay, so it won't let me move with the watch up, which is good. So they've got me beat even further up the chain. But I wonder if it'll do the same with the camera. Yeah, it takes you out of it. All right, cool. And you know, and I've mentioned this before in one of my videos that testing something and not finding a bug is almost as valuable as having found a bug, because then you know that's ground that's been covered. That's something that has been tested. I wonder if I can pull up the camera while falling. We're gonna find out. The answer is no. All right. You know, this is sort of an art bug. I would probably bug this. If you can't pick it up and you can't see it, I'd argue that probably shouldn't be happening. There should be some kind of thing cutting off that icon appearing. There's obviously a weapon inside here that I'm close to, and oh my God, these faces! Ugh. Jesus Christ! So, photo mode is kind of a debated topic among some of the QA people that I've spoken to, and developers specifically. They talk about so if you find an art bug while in photo mode, does it really count if you can't see it outside of photo mode? So like, say if I had you know, two things that were, you know, let's say a cup laying on a table and it was floating like that you literally could not notice. It's at an angle, it's sort of like back in a corner that you wouldn't be able to see unless you were able to swing the camera in and take a close look. Now, debatably, that is, not even debatably, that's not a big deal. That's a bug that's likely going to get marked shippable. But there are bigger instances, bigger problems that they wouldn't be visible without photo mode. So yeah, it's a conundrum. I kind of usually go on the side of caution. I don't go hunting for bugs in photo mode like a lot of developers, or not like a lot of gamers do, or a lot of testers. They'll go into photo mode specifically to sort of like swing it around and make it. We have a thing called camera slew in a lot of games where it just disconnects the camera from the character and you can just sort of zip them around. Yeah, I mean, if you find because we had a problem in Saints Row, or we had so since we had the camera slew, we had a thing in Saints Row where if you found a bug in camera slew, that's fine, but you also have to show how severe it is when not in slew. So you had to make sure you had to show when it was actually there. So I think that I would probably bug this, the fact that this sign doesn't appear to have, or does appear to have collision, but these don't. Same thing as usual as most art bugs. I would just go and say, hey, a flag, I'd probably bug that too, but it being cloth, that they could probably get around that by saying, oh, it's cloth. It just kind of moves out of the way, which it doesn't. It doesn't sim at all. But yeah, this game very much old school Dead Rising. When was Dead Rising released? Hang on, let's find that out. 2006. Duh, I should have known that. That was the year I started my game development journey. But yeah, I would get the model of these and just say, hey, they don't have collision. This X model does not have collision, or player collision. I'd have to test out to see if it has bullet collision. That's something I've talked about in other videos, where there's different types of collision. So like this sign, it obviously doesn't have character collision. The character's able to just walk right through it. But if you shot it and it had a bullet ricocheted off of it, that would still mean it has projectile collision or bullet collision. Yeah, like most of these don't have collision. A lot of times collision is not included just to sort of help save on performance, because collision is rather performance heavy, performance intensive. So that's usually why a lot of times collision is kind of left out of a lot of models. I think if the player's not going to interact with it a lot, why put collision on it, which makes sense. Can't focus on anything other than the fence. I mean, there's probably going to be some kind of bug for that. Oh, it's got a thing floating way out there. Yeah, this is kind of stuff that no one's ever going to notice. That's probably going to get marked shippable immediately. But yeah, hey, there's a thing floating way beyond there. Yeah, this is what a lot of art testing is just going over everything with a fine-tooth comb. Collision on this seems a bit extreme. It might just be an invisible wall here. No, I don't know. I've tried to find that shelf somewhere else in the game and see if it's the shelf or if it's just a little piece of collision they left there. I'd probably bug this, but it's gonna get marked shippable as well. So like, yeah, basically what you're seeing. So most textures are one-sided. They don't have. So like I say, if I'm viewing this, it's concrete, right? If I were to take my camera and go on the inside, it wouldn't show anything. It would just be completely see-through on the other side, because textures are only visible from one side usually. For this instance, like say we've got this big concrete building, room that's supposed to lead me into the building. If you look through the crack here of the door, you can see basically the rest of what's on the other side of the wall. Oh, I lost it now. Oh, there it is. Oh. Yeah, you can kind of see inside there. So, simple stuff, not a big deal. And that's why whenever you fall through the world on a game, in any game like GTA or anything like that, if you fall under the world and you look up, you'll be able to see through the ground and the floors because textures are only one-sided. Alright, So usually I would just sit here and let the timer run out and see what happens. I'm sure someone in QA did that. They wouldn't have missed such an obvious bug, surely. Tell you what, that lady is stupid, but not gonna lie. If my little buddy goes on the other side of that glass, there's about 1,000 zombies getting ready to die. I mean, I wouldn't endanger everybody else's life, but I'll be like, y'all might want to back up because I'm about to get my dog.
What in the hell are you people doing?
You people.
Run! Quick, move! Get over here! Everyone, move this way! Quick, to the stairs! Move!
Go through the zombies. Obviously, on a failure pass, I would do everything I can to die. I would die in every single stage. Controls for the camera are weird. What's going on over here, buddy? He's just really like pointing at him. Perfect, yes. Hey guys, what's up? Ooh, you're so forward, sir. Got me. Wait, you can just lose that part and it would still work? Hold up. Hang on. No way. Really? That's kind of weird. I would almost want to bug that. There's got to be... The reason they did that has to be some reason. Like, there's got to be a good reason they did that. I don't know. Maybe it's their checkpoint system gets all screwed up if they don't. I don't know, man. That was super weird. Can't say it's what I would have done, but you know what? I'm sure they've got a really good reason.
What are you doing? Wait a minute. You want to get back in there? What for?
I want some Sabaros.
Hey. Hey.
Juice right?
Objectifying camera angles. Huzzah. I'm gonna bet the reason that they don't have a camera angle on him climbing out is because when the doors open, it's probably empty inside there. Like, you'll be able to see that it's like just a bunch of missing shit. Or, let's see. No, it's open. I don't know why they wouldn't show him just coming out. It looks fine to me. Well, I mean, that's obviously a dead end over there. There's like no sound effect for that. I'm sure, I know I've got the audio turned really way down for you guys, but what the hell? I feel like there should be some kind of sound effect for that.
It's too dangerous here. Follow me. Come on, 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 come on.
Oh my god, the tutorials. Japan, come on, man. Actually, I'm not gonna say Japan. It's freaking everybody does that, apparently. Okay. I'm gonna listen real close. I know you guys can't really hear it, but... That is like there is a sound effect, but god, it's an awful sound effect. Ugh. Damn it. Do it again. Yeah, smell each other's hair. Do it. Oh yeah, I want to do it upside down. Fine. You guys don't like each other that much, I guess.
You mind cutting it, Julius? Really, it's not safe here, but...
There's like no animation for him touching the button or nothing. Let's see if there is for this. Nope. Man, this must have been like a... I mean... Why is it inside your face, dude? This whole animation is jank. Oh, God. Yeah, I'd probably grab a screenshot. The video as well. And let that ring. See what it does when I get back. Oh yeah, obviously I'd grab the screenshot, you know, show, find out what the name of this animation is. Frank is... If we want to go with problem action, we could write this however is most clear. Don't be a slave to problem action location, but for the sake of this video, I'll probably stick to problem action location. So Frank's face clips into the walkie. Is it walkie? Talkie, I think is how you say it. How you spell it? I'd look it up usually, but I'm not gonna right now. Into the walkie-talkie when playing X animation. Or you could just say when... Or we can go a completely different way and say something along these lines. You know, the animation for Frank speaking or to someone over the walkie-talkie causes his face to clip into the talkie. Please see attached screenshot. You do the steps, you know, steps of this would be pretty easy. You know, it could progress through the story until you reach the point where it has a walkie-talkie, get a call, hit the button to get a call. You probably don't even need the first step, and that's debated amongst some QA people too. We won't get into that right now. It's about where you need the obvious first steps of progress through the game to this point. Yeah, we'll see. Damn, fine looking textures. I don't know why my coffee tastes like ham. You missed her. If I knew the game better, I would try to find out what they're calling me about on the radio and try to go to that objective before I've taken the phone call or the radio call. So if you hold down the button, you see the swing. But if you hold down the button mid-swing, it does repeated. I actually kind of like that. Like that's... I don't know if that's intended or not, but I actually think that's a pretty nice thing. I wonder if it's rapid fire for the guns too. Nope. Single action. Or not single action, but single shot. Semi-auto. I will ruin this book with water. Nothing ruins this book. Why wouldn't I just... Yeah, of course I want this. So, it said that I can't be hurt. What? That's inappropriate, sir. So it said he won't take damage if I'm holding this in front of me, but they could still grab me? Why was the person able to grab me before? Oh, maybe it's just all angle? I guess it's considered sort of like a shield's angle of deflection. Come at me, bro. Oh, okay, yeah. And it says it takes, oops. What if I still get blocked? Come on. Oh, come on. Will they really not mess with me when my watch is up? Oh, this seems like a bug to me. Oh yeah, that's definitely not normal. Okay, yeah, so I would say that whenever you've got your watch up for some inexplicable reason. See, that person was able to get through too. I don't understand. How was he able to get through? Yeah. Okay, that was good. Now I wonder if it does the same thing when I'm not holding something to block. And this is what you do in testing too, is you make sure that you get all the relevant data you can. So yeah, they're just approaching me and not really able to hit me, it seems. They get way too close. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, we would bug it. I would just... Oh, see, that guy, he got me that time. What if I'm just sitting here if they just kind of leave me alone? Like, what if the watch has nothing to do with it? They seem to be a little more inclined to attack me. Or if I don't have the watch up. But if I had the watch up... I mean, I would bug the fact that they get too close either way. So that's just a bug in and of itself. Yeah, that guy was able to hit me out of having my watch. So, I would do a little more research, obviously, to try and find out what's going on with why they aren't going to hit me, why they won't hit me for some reason, or why they seem reluctant to hit me when I'm holding something, or whenever I have my watch up. There's another bug right there. His coat clips through his butt whenever he's falling down from death. So, yeah, if I were going to... No, I don't want to change the casualty. Fork off. Let's see. But yeah, if I were going to bug, you know... I would do more research, but be like, you know, zombies are considerably less likely to attack Frank while he is looking at his watch. That would be the one that I would do more research on, but the one that actually we know for certain is when looking very close to the camera when Frank is viewing his watch. This causes the camera to clip into the zombies. That's fine. That's pretty much all they need to know. And, you know, I would have a video or a clip, you know, it's just something showing that they get way too close and all that. So I'm going to try and do the whole two-handed watch thing. Hopefully that will... I just don't... They just seem just so unlikely to hit me. I felt the vibration of me getting hit. I wonder if this lost some durability during that. It did. Okay. It's interesting. So it looks like I can block while I'm looking at my watch while holding a two-handed thing. Now that makes me think, what's going to happen when it breaks and I'm looking at my watch? So then you kind of have to ask, what's the bug? Is the bug that... is the bug that... Hang on. So like say if me holding it and then it breaking in my hand did cause an issue, like say if I'm looking at my watch and I'm holding that and it breaks and that causes like a really bad issue, is the bug that issue, that thing that happens, or is the bug the fact that it blocks anything while looking at your watch? Like is it further up river or further upstream, the actual bug? So like say if you were to have a bug where that allows you, like, hey, if you go here and go outside the map, if you have a thing that lets you go outside the map, if I found like a corner of the map that let me go outside, that's the bug. Now, if I were to say, hey, I can go to this corner of the map and go outside of the map, and then I get to, you know, go to this part of the level, or I get to, you know, skip this mission, me being able to skip the mission, that's not the bug. The bug is the fact that I was able to get out of the map. That's the bug. But yeah, the bug is not that, you know, that you're able to skip the mission by going out of the map. The bug is that you were able to get out of the map. Now, you can sometimes use the results of a bug, you know, something like what I just described, to raise the severity of the bug. So like say getting outside the map in that particular area may have just been like an A or, you know, maybe a B level bug, you know, because it gets you right back in or something like that. Whereas if you were to be able to get outside the map and then skip entire missions or, you know, break the game entirely, that would sort of upgrade it to a higher level of bug. So you can use sort of those subsequent symptoms of a bug to actually to up the severity and make it seem a lot more serious. So there's a difference between what's causing the bug and the results of the bug. Oh, it broke. It didn't break. Or it didn't break the game, you know what I mean. It broke, but it didn't break the game. That's exactly what we wanted this to do, right? I mean, I would have thought that it would knock me out of it, but I mean, that's definitely not the worst case scenario that could have happened. Yeah, I can tell the controller is vibrating. So I'm taking, my thing I'm holding is taking damage, I think. Yeah, my potted plant. I mean, we gonna take over the world, me and this potted plant. It broke. Pretty much exactly what we wanted. Oh, one little thing that I'm sure most of you who've played zombie games have noticed. So, whenever you're going to have a lot of characters on screen, they have to be pretty simple. You know, they can't be really great looking character models or anything like that. That's just not usually going to happen. But you'll also notice that they have to be so simple that they're all either bald or have short cropped hair. You'll never find cloth physics or hair physics, which is basically kind of like hand in hand usually, on a game that has like a billion characters running around. That's why you'll notice like in Dead Island, all the zombies were bald. You'll notice in this, all the zombies are either bald or have short cropped hair or have it tied back or tied up. It's just one of those little things that you just notice after you've been playing, or after you've been developing and playing games, or just in these types of games for a while. I want to be a lady about town. Oh yeah, I'm gonna check out my new pretty handbag. I'm gonna beat you to death with fashion. Wonder how long I'll be able to do this till it until it starts despawning. Are they despawning? I think they're despawning. And see, personally, if it were me, I probably would have put a limit on these, on how many can spawn from this. That way you don't have to worry too much about it. Surely they've got to be despawning. Right? I'm not noticing any despawning, but surely they've got to be despawning. Huh. Really kind of surprised this doesn't completely break frame rate. I'm gonna fill the world with bats. If I had more time, I would fill the world with bats, but I'm not gonna do that. That is the biggest fucking skateboard I've ever seen in my life. Why does he fly back like he freaking hit a wall made of springs? Yeah, the animation, or the IK or whatever it is, whatever's causing his foot or his feet to attach to the board is just not solid. So you'll notice the front foot half the time usually when I'm turning, will really clip into stuff. Ridiculous. The physics are ridiculous. Yeah, look at his foot going crazy through that front board, or front of the board. Yeah, that's pretty rough. God, that skateboard is massive. I mean, I would almost bug how massive this freaking skateboard is. What the fuck, bro? What the hell? Why the fuck did you just shoot me? I'm not gonna lie, dude. The game is pretty jank. I mean, but that goes right hand in hand with the original Dead Rising. That game was jank as hell, too. So, this was kind of interesting, and I hadn't noticed before. So, I cannot pick these up until I break the glass, right? But I was able to get this camera flash without breaking the glass. So I would probably bug that, and I would probably retest it. But like if I were, I'm always recording whenever I'm testing, so I would hit the buffer button, and hey, that gets to the last 30 seconds. Cut out the parts I don't need. Yeah. Oh, it's porn. Oh. Probably something to get marked shippable, but the specular highlights are not showing up on, like, not being blocked by this little planner box. So, like, you'll see the floor, that little highlight right there. It kind of doesn't get blocked by it. Not a huge deal, but something I would bring up. Okay, so this would be one of those really minor bugs, but I would probably bug the fact that these doors don't swing open. I mean, they're swinging doors. Why don't they swing when you run into them? I'm sure performance and time are the answers, but yeah, it just seems weird that those don't open. Orange juice. OP. So food is indestructible. A little weird. I'd probably bug it, but probably as designed. This tray stack doesn't have any kind of collision or physics. The hell's this guy laying on? Is he just like close enough to this that he's considered? Huh. Yeah, because these guys are going okay. Just for some reason, this guy, I'm going to guess the collision here is... Yeah, there's an invisible step here. So yeah, I think it's probably a problem with this thing right here. It has ill-form fitting collision. So I'll just get the model of whatever this is and try to use debug commands to show the collision around it. And just bug it. I bet you it's probably the same on the other side. Yep, it sure is. So the collision is just not form-fitting to the model is what it is. Obviously, I would just get the model of it, be like, hey, the collision, the physical collision does not match the visual model. It's funny, I think in the original game, this was much closer to a lightsaber, and for legal reasons, I'm sure they had to change it. Ooh, dangerous toy. So funny that you actually probably couldn't really make this game and it make any sense. Why does the glass fade out so fast? Why would you bother having physics and collision and stuff like that and then just immediately get rid of it? Wow. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably bug that. That's a little weird. I would almost bug this too. It looks short enough that Frank should be able to step over it. I'd get a shot of the collision and be like, hey, this is short enough that it looks like Frank should definitely be able to step over it. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and call that for today. I don't want to bore you guys too much with it. A bullet can't. A toy sword. God, it just fades so fast. Just instantly almost. Wow. Anyway, yeah, that's probably going to be it for me today, guys. I really hope it was somewhat informative. I hope, yeah, hope you find it at least a little bit helpful. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.